Hey everybody, super excited about today's intro to the podcast, and that is because many of you know that we've teamed up with TheraSage. TheraSage is and has been the preeminent leader in the sauna detoxification-based space. You know I'm a huge advocate of their Thera 360. I've talked about their tri-light red light therapy and their negative ion generators. One of the reasons why I wanted to do this intro here today is that many of you do not know, though, a lot of the other products that they carry. One of those is the BioBand, and this is actually a really stylish bracelet, a band that you can wear around your wrist to help with everything from stress, inflammation, free radical damage, and more. It uses negative ion-based therapy, magnets, and infrared, plus so much more in order to help you through the healing process. So this is a really nice adjunct, a nice add-on to whether it be a daily foundational protocol, your smoothies, your walks, your workouts, whatever it might be. It's one more thing to help you with your overall health. And Equilife has actually purchased 500 of those bands to give away to our community. It's completely free with all qualifying orders. Just head on over to stevencabral.com/shop for all the details. Now, enjoy the show.
Welcome to the Cabral Concept, where board-certified naturopath and integrative health practitioner Dr. Stephen Cabral shares how he was diagnosed at the age of 17 with a life-altering illness and given no hope for recovery. It was only after studying and traveling all over the world did he discover how to combine ancient Ayurvedic healing practices with state-of-the-art naturopathic and functional medicine to fully rebalance the body and re-energize it with life. It's time to discover how to get well, lose weight, and finally feel alive again. And now, here's your host, Dr. Stephen Cabral.
Welcome back, everyone. We're here today with episode 2444 of the Cabral Concept. This is part one of our Cabral HouseCalls each and every Saturday and Sunday, bringing you about 6 questions per day from our community, trying my best to answer those for you on all things health, wellness, and anti-aging. So let's dive right into the show. I can't wait to see today's questions. I'm actually just opening up the massive volume of questions that come in from the community. And it's fantastic for me to actually get to see these every single weekend, because the truth is that your questions are what I'm most dedicated to understanding and answering on the weekend, but also a lot of times they develop into longer shows on the Monday through Friday shows. So that is that. And let's dive into the first one from Alaa. It's ALAA. It says, my lab shows that I have multiple small follicles and bilateral ovaries arranged randomly in line ruled as it is PCOS. I have amenorrhea since more than a year. Only got my period twice. Doctor informed me only estrogen was normal, low, although I have amenorrhea, excess hair, oily skin. Some days I feel fatigue. Some days I'm super good. Some days can't move. All right, let's see what else. Sometimes healthy bowel movements, sometimes constipation. Fasting glucose is usually 70 to 88. Super active because of my work, and I exercise 4 to 5 times a week. Cardio, weight training and cardio is 20 minutes, 5 times a week. I used to do low carb, HIIT, and intermittent fasting, but I stopped them because I feel my body can't handle it. All right, I got it. So here's what I want to share with you. The way, and it's not your fault, you did not know otherwise, but one way that women get into PCOS and amenorrhea and lower metabolic rate is too much stress in the body. When you do high-intensity interval training with a low-carb diet and longer intermittent fasting, I've talked about this many, many times on my podcast, it is a recipe for disaster for a female's body. You will go low progesterone, which is most likely what happened to you, and you have low estrogen, but it's probably even like estrogen dominant still. You may have higher levels of testosterone. Your fasting glucose is 70 to 88, which is great. We don't necessarily know what it is after a meal and where it goes, but that is not the only cause of PCOS. Remember, I've talked about this before. High testosterone is not the only cause of PCOS or hair growth or any of those other things. So what we need to do, again, is honestly find the basis. Most likely it has to do with higher levels of cortisol, potentially lower progesterone, potentially lower vitamin D3, and potentially lower thyroid. So there's one lab. If you only run one lab, it's the stress, mood, and metabolism. You can find it at stevencabral.com/labs. And that is what you'll want to run. You'll get a full plan based on what we find. And then we're going to get that body back healthy. If you haven't read the Rain Barrel Effect yet, I would start there as well. That's free. You just pay shipping. That's at StephenCabral.com. And that's what's going to get you started. So I'm going to try to get really concise with my answers. Not like, oh, could do this, could do that. That's the way. I mean, like that's literally the way to do it. All right. And that's how we help women with PCOS all the time. And I have so many free podcasts on PCOS. So if you don't want to get started yet, totally understand. Just go to StephenCabral.com/podcast, type in PCOS. You'll find my PCOS podcast. I have a whole course on female hormones at StephenCabral.com/courses. And you can even ask questions at CabralSupportGroup.com. All right. Maria is up next. Hi, Dr. Cabral. I've written in about this issue before, and I'm just looking for any last insights you may have into my vitamin D deficiency. Last time you suggested a vitamin D lamp, but I didn't end up going that route since summer was just around the corner. My vitamin D has hovered around 30 for the past year. I've had it checked 5 times or so now. I've listened to your vitamin D podcast many times, and I'm doing literally every single thing you suggest. I was taking 10,000 IU vitamin D at lunch with a meal containing fat, extra K2. I also use the DNS powder daily. After 3 to 4 months of doing that, I was able to get my number up to 39, the highest I've ever had. In early May, I backed down to 4,000 IU because I took a couple vacations to the beach, and it's summer now, and I'm getting sun exposure daily for at least 20 to 30 minutes, more than an hour on the weekends. So I just tested my vitamin D, and it dropped to 22. Even with all the sun exposure, what might preventing my body from absorbing vitamin D? Okay, well, I can help you with that. And I have a show coming out on if you should take vitamin D3 all year round. Let's see. It actually just came out 2 days ago, episode 2441. So I hope that you do listen in on that because I actually share with you exactly how your body makes vitamin D. So you very well may have a processing issue inside of the liver or kidney. Again, I have to give you my disclaimer. No medical advice, no medical diagnosis, no medical treatment plans, no medical cures. Your body needs magnesium. It needs calcium. It needs vitamin K. It needs, obviously, with your vitamin D, zinc and a few other factors in order to best use that vitamin D. I would make sure that there are no autoimmune processes taking place in the body, that the liver is functioning well, that the kidneys are functioning well, that you're well hydrated, all those good things. And then also, you may just not be getting enough sun exposure for you. On that episode, I talk about if you're not getting a tan, it's not enough vitamin D for you. I mean, like literally, like that's the way that it works. So 20 to 30 minutes of sun exposure is fine for some people with lighter, fairer skin, but not so much with people with darker skin. So I shared that on the show, and that is what I recommend. You may need a little bit more vitamin D, at least for right now, unless there is a process inside of the liver not allowing you to convert the vitamin D from cholesterol and pre-vitamin D to where it hits the liver and then actually gets absorbed, being utilized by the kidneys. All right, so just check those other factors and feel free to write back. All right, Anonymous is up next. Hello, big fan of the show. Thanks for all you do in the world of wellness and for helping so many people. Thank you, Anonymous. I'm curious what your thoughts are on taking digestive enzymes during pregnancy. I know women should minimize their supplement intake as much as possible while pregnant, avoiding herbal therapies, mega dosages. But if these are safe during pregnancy, but are these safe during pregnancy? Okay. So I see where you're coming from. I would not use proteolytic enzymes. I would not use enzymes away from food. Could you use enzymes during a meal to help break down that food where the enzymes are then used on the food and not on your body? Yeah, you could. You could. I'm not going to say that you can't. I wouldn't use more than a digestive enzyme at a whole food meal, and I would take it with the meal, not on an empty stomach, so it's not working through the body. And again, there's no real evidence showing that it's negative in any way, even if you took proteolytic enzymes, but I still don't recommend it. So, that's that. Would I feel comfortable? Yeah, my wife has actually taken some digestive enzymes. She does actually really well with digestive enzymes. So she uses them at each meal. It's very, very helpful for her, whereas I don't get as much benefit. I like them, but I don't get as much benefit. So yeah, that's that. I mean, that's total personal choice. If you don't need them, then you won't use them. That's how I always feel about it. Try ginger tea first. Yeah, that's what I would do. And then maybe just one. All right. And again, no medical advice. Marlon is up next. Hello. I have a question regarding zinc. Whenever I take it, I develop mouth sores and skin lesions stop healing properly. When I am deficient in copper, since I I think I am deficient in copper since I have early grain hair. I'm only 27. I have lowered white blood cells and a history of recurrent iron deficiency anemia. I would like to take balanced zinc for balancing copper, but can't tolerate zinc. Same thing happens when I take a multivitamin. Also have lots of food intolerances and gut imbalances. I'm currently doing the CBO protocol, but still struggling since everything seems to be upsetting my system. Okay, totally understand and appreciate the question. My biggest recommendation, though, is believe it or not, is actually fixing the gut, because we're going to start to fix things or talk about these single nutrients while actually talking about like what is going on with the digestive system. So the very best thing, in my opinion, no medical advice, would be to do a 21-day functional medicine detox. You can do it concurrently while doing the CBO protocol. And then if needed, I would run the bacteria and parasite stool test about 4 weeks after the CBO protocol to see if you have parasites. And because iron deficient anemia can be because of parasites, so can sores and not healing properly with the body, because there could be an immune imbalance. So again, I think you're doing the right thing. 21-day functional medicine detox, CBO protocol, CBO finisher. While you're doing the CBO finisher, you may want to do the stool test if you're not already better. All right, so that is actually where it start. Stay much more foundational, and then that will be better than just looking at individual nutrients, because if you can't handle a multivitamin, there's definitely things going on overall in the body which are not balanced. All right. Jamie's up next. Hi, my question is about Lyme disease in children. My daughter is 6 years old and we believe she has Lyme. She is being tested now. Is there a test you suggest in a protocol to help her if she has it? Thank you. All right, so this was written in about 3 months ago, 12 weeks ago, on July 8th. I just want to make sure that if you have an immediate question, you want a response, ask it at cabralsupportgroup.com. Don't wait the 12 weeks. That's my recommendation, because I want to make sure that you get the help that you need. And what I'm going to do is the same thing that they would do at Cabral Support Group, is share with you my Lyme-based protocol. Again, it is not a medical protocol. I can't give you medical advice. Only your PCP can do that. But I give you the exact one I used personally and that I share. All right. So you can find it at stevencabral.com /podcast. Let's just see if we can find it together for a moment. But again, you just ask at cabralsupportgroup.com, and then you'll get the full podcast link right there. I'm going to check real quick, Lyme protocol. And again, I can't link to the supplements, but I can tell you all about it because it's illegal FDA-wise for me to link to those. Virus and long-term illness. Let's see, Lyme. There it is, 1572. StevenCabral.com /1572. My tick bite and Lyme disease protocol. All right. One more question for the day, and it is from Darren. Darren says, "Good day. What are your thoughts on?" I can't say the doctor's name. The carnivore MD saying to avoid seeds, roots, stems, vegetables because they're harmful to the human body, in favor of meat, organ meat, fruit, honey, and white rice occasionally. All right. I've done a whole podcast on this too, called something on the carnivore diet. So again, please write into cabralsupportgroup.com. Say, hey, could you share with me Dr. Cabral's podcast on the carnivore diet? And they will share with that exactly what it is. I go through the human digestive tract. I go through the biology of a carnivore's digestive tract and their nocturnal vision versus a human's digestive tract and their non-nocturnal vision. But the funny thing is, this carnivore MD, they were on a famous podcast a few years back saying that you should only eat meat, and they only ate meat. Now they eat meat and they eat fruit and they eat honey. Sometimes they eat yogurt, and now they eat white rice, right? So it's like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Like, you just go with the wind. If they did the original research appropriately and not cherry-picked it saying, oh, this contains lectins, this contains that. Okay, well, sure. Who is affected by lectins? Not everyone. People with gut imbalances, Th2 hypersensitivity. Why? We should rebalance that when, by the way, the longest lived people eat nuts and tubers and different types of ancient based grains. Like, that is the longest lived people. Oh, and by the way, the only non-inflammatory fats are plant-based ones, olives, avocados, etc. It doesn't mean that I don't think you can eat meat products or organ meat. I do. Hey, what if you eat organ meat every day? Well, especially liver. You might have high levels of vitamin A, or you might have too high levels of purines. So again, people sell you a diet. They sell you it, right? And I don't think it's appropriate, especially since this particular doctor said only eat meat. Now they're saying, oh, you can have some honey. Oh, you can have some grains. Oh, you can have some fruit, but only the ones that I tell you, right? Because they contain all of this powerful knowledge that somehow they're the only one that ever found out. And so if you're changing your dogma every year or 2 years, I'm sorry, but it's not okay. It's not okay because you're an authority as a doctor. Now you're sharing information that's harmful to people, and they know it's harmful, and they never said otherwise, which they said, sorry, I harmed everybody a couple years back by telling them to only eat meat, right? So, all right, that's how I feel. And I was being nice, by the way, right there. All right, because again, my goal is to help people. It truly is first, do no harm. I took that oath, right? Not everybody does. And I know they don't mean harm by other people, but they should honestly not step out of what they do in order to give some fringe different research and harm potentially a lot of people. All right, that's it. We'll save more rants for tomorrow. Thanks, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. I'll talk with you tomorrow. Take care. Thanks so much for tuning into the show. And you probably heard with the intro that Equilife is giving away 500 of the TheraSage TheraAid bio bands. These are energetic bands to help you with overall free radical damage, inflammation, low mood, low energy, and more. They can help with the harmful effects of EMFs and overall chemical sensitivities. They work by helping to generate negative ions. They use magnetic-based therapy and infrared-based technology, all in a simple bracelet that you can wear around your wrist or probably even around your ankle if you choose to. You can check out all the details and how you can get one of these 500 bands that we've reserved by heading on over to StephenCabral.com/shop. That's StephenCabral.com/shop. We are giving away one with each qualifying order, and we've reserved 500 of these from TheraSage. Check it out. Check out all the details at StephenCabral.com/shop.